Well, when the alopecia thing started up, that's when they just did some like steroid shots, and for one, I didn't really like the needles in my head for one of for one thing, and it wasn't working. That was the other thing. It really wasn't working, and I was like, okay, I need to. That's when I dropped back and punt here. There's something. I'm not going down the right road here. I need to kind of find something better and different.
Welcome back to HairPod, the podcast where we dive into the personal stories, the struggles, and the ultimate transformations of those facing hair loss. I'm your host, Kevin Rolston, and we're here to shed light on this experience so many people share, and most importantly, the solutions that have brought confidence back into their lives. If you're dealing with hair loss, remember, you have got a community right here. And if this is your first time listening, please subscribe to get notified whenever we have a new inspiring story. Anyone who is a fan of NASCAR knows the name Joey Logano. Joey is a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and has made waves in the world of stock car racing with his achievements. But newer fans may not know that Joey has struggled with an autoimmune disorder called alopecia, which causes partial or total hair loss. Joey learned of his alopecia after a routine trip to the barber.
Well, it's actually kind of at this point, now it's a funny story. But at the time, I just went to get my hair cut like I typically do at the local barbershop. And I got home, and my wife goes, "What did they do to the back of your head?" I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean what did they do to the back? They gave me a haircut." She goes, "They completely botched your haircut." I'm like, "No way." And she shows me a picture, and it's spots all over the back of my head. I'm like, "Well, they did botch my haircut." And she's pissed. She's like, "This lady that cut your hair should not be working there. Like she's gonna screw up someone else's haircut, and then everyone's gonna look ridiculous like you look." And so she drives down there to tell this lady how she shouldn't be cutting hair anymore. Well, you fast forward a week or so, and it's not growing back. And I'm like, hold on, I think there's something wrong. And I went to a dermatologist, and like they diagnosed with alopecia, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know what that means, and what do I do? And the first thing I knew what it meant is that we need to drive back to the barbershop and apologize to the poor lady that cut my hair. That was the first thing we had to do.
Yeah, because I'm curious, like, how much, like, alopecia, how many bald spots did you have? How prominent was it?
It comes in and out. It honestly comes in and out. Sometimes in the back of my head, top of my head. Sometimes it shows up in my beard.
Oh, wow.
It's different ways. It's an autoimmune disorder is what it is. And
Okay.
there's no rhyme or reason. They can't really understand it. They say maybe stress, hereditary. It's really like they don't know. I mean, on top of the alopecia, I was just going bald, right? Like that was the other piece
Wait,
to it.
do you ever come under any stress at all? What do you do that's so stressful?
Yes. Well, it just flared up here not too long ago. So it makes sense. As the playoffs usually roll around, there's a lot of stress that gets put on the plate. Yeah. Driving circles as fast as never fast enough is what it is though. So always looking for more on that one.
It's common for people who are losing their hair to try a few different solutions before they find one that works for them. Things such as reducing stress, changing their diet, taking supplements, essential oils, grandma's remedies. Shoot, I gotta admit, I have tried some crazy ideas myself. So you are like a lot of guys, you notice that you've got some hair loss issues. You've got a unique situation. And the reason why we're doing the HairPod is because we're trying to let people know that there are solutions out there. And it sounds like your first step was what a lot of guys' first step is. And being a NASCAR like you are, you were able to wear a lot of hats. But then tell me about the challenges with that, because, you know, I know being in the field that I'm in, where you do media, is you wind up with these social functions where a hat's just not going to cut it. You kind of wound up with the same situation.
Yeah, and it happened whether it's, you know, you think about Ferrari stuff during the national anthem or the prayer before the race. You take your hat off, and then you see like pictures and stuff afterwards. You're like, golly, I'm like, I'm bald, honey. Like, you kind of don't realize it because it happens so slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then eventually, it's like, yeah, I should just do something about it. I can, so why wouldn't I? What's wrong with that? And like a lot of people, it's a little awkward. What direction am I supposed to go here? Is this? But honestly, it's normal, right? Like so many people deal with it, and if you can do something about it, why wouldn't you? Like there's nothing wrong with that, and like who's gonna judge you for that? For wanting to be better, right? Like why do you go to gym and work out? To be better, to look good, feel good, right? Like that's kind of the same situation I think with your hair. And if it bothers you and you can gain some confidence from having hair, the great thing is that there's a lot of different ways of going about it that you can have hair again. And I think that part's pretty neat.
But after pursuing other options, Joey connected with Hair Club as a hair solution and a partner and even a sponsor. Was your very first attempt at trying to do something about your hair loss, was it going to Hair Club, or did you try something else before going to Hair Club?
I wasn't educated enough to even know which direction to go, and I just went to my local dermatologist that I've gone to, and they have a couple options there, but they weren't like great ones. When the alopecia thing started up, that's when they just did some like steroid shots where the alopecia spots were, and for one, I didn't really like the needles in my head for one of them, for one thing, and it wasn't working. That was the other thing; it really wasn't working. And I was like, okay, I need to. That's when I dropped back and punt here. There's something. Yeah, I'm not going down the right road here. I need to kind of, find something better and different. Right. And so then when I went to Hair Club, it's like, whoa, there's like a lot of different things I can do here depending on my situation. And I learned about all the things they have, and like I said, it's different for everybody, right? Like your issues would be completely different than mine, and there's a fix for all of them. And like I couldn't believe how many different avenues there was when I got there. That was the part that blew my mind. And they all were pretty simple, right? It was all quick and like easy. Okay, you can do this, you can do that. Like some more permanent, some you gotta, be around a little bit more often. It just kind of depends on what your situation was. And so I was like, cool. I felt really comfortable after leaving Hair Club the first time because, I walked in there feeling awkward and uncomfortable. And I thought at the end, I was like, okay. Like I'm usually not a quick decision maker. And I was like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. Sounds good. See you next week.
When most people find a solution with the new hair system, one of the natural concerns is, what are my limits? Being a race car driver, Joey naturally has an extremely active lifestyle. Flying around the track at nearly 200 miles per hour, your hair is the last thing you want to worry about. So I had to know if Joey ever got nervous about bringing his hair system into new situations.
Only in the beginning, I was nervous. Now I'm not. I'm not now because I feel very confident in everything now. But at first, when things were new, you're like, I don't know, I don't know about this jet ski. You know what I mean? I don't know where I'm at with stuff, but. You honestly kind of figure out your way your things go and everything, and you get confident and comfortable in what you got, and it's fine. But I'm telling you, when I asked a lot of questions before to a lot of people, I'm like, so that's fine, so that you can, like, yeah, and they look at you like you're an idiot. Right? Like, yeah, you can live your normal life. What are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, well, I just wanted to ask, like I don't know, and it took. I mean, I'm being honest, it took a month or so before you get used to, for one, seeing yourself with hair, right? You look in the mirror and you're like, oh, who's that guy, right? Like it takes a second to get used to it, for one, and then also how to live with it. Just the way you live your life, right? Like all that stuff, like you're concerned it's going to change and do all stuff, but it really just, it's not a big deal.
Well, what is the temperature like for you, and how does the hair feel? Because you got a helmet on, you're in a car. I mean, I know, I'm in South Florida, so when you come to Miami Homestead, the temperatures in that car have got to be absolutely insane. So, how breathable is your hair, and what does it feel like when you're in those extreme temperatures?
I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even know.
Really? Okay.
Very, just wouldn't, like, and honestly, like, from, you think the conditions that I am in inside a race car, it's 30 degrees warmer than the outside air temp. So when you have a 90-degree day, it's 120 degrees in the car.
Wow.
And we just raced in Texas. It was 100 degrees outside. It was over 130
That's
in
insane.
the car.
Wow. Nothing.
I get right out and walk away. I don't think twice about. Like, I got other things to worry about when I'm in the race car. If hair is one of them, I don't want that distraction. Like, I wouldn't want the distraction. It's not worth it to me as a competitor. This is like, I wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? I get out and I walk out, right? Like, all I do now is I fix my hair a little bit before I get out of the car because I actually have hair. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that's different.
What about the reactions you get? Have you ever had another driver tease you about your hair? Has there been anybody that's done anything that's made you feel self-conscious about it? And tell me a little bit about the confidence that having the hair does for you.
Yeah, I mean, the shock factor is real. There's no way around that. Like, when you first show up and you're like, whoa, like, well, what's different? Or what happened? And it took a little bit for people to just kind of get used to it. Now it's not even like, it's never even really brought up, which is what you want to get to, I think, right? You don't really want it to be a topic of conversation everywhere you go. But, for me, think about it. I'm in the public eye as much as as a race car driver can be, at least. And so, you're getting a lot of reactions the first, few days. And especially because when I first started having it, there was we were raced at the LA Coliseum, and one of the big banners there was a Hair Club banner, and it said, "Ask Joey." Well, I'm like, everybody's asking me about it, because it says to ask me. So I don't know if I have the best, I don't think I have the best experience there, most realistic experience for the normal customer. They're telling people to ask me about my hair, so it's probably a lot different for the normal customer that's not advertising it as much as I am.
So then if you're going to do an appearance, say you're on an American Idol, you're doing Sharknado 12 or something like that, are you confident with how you do the hair yourself? Because, for some people, they feel like they can never get the hair the way a hairdresser does, and it's hard to style. And that is one of the things. When you do have hair, you have the potential to have to style it, and, there's a little bit of work that goes into it.
Well, there's an education that goes into it. And I learned, because I didn't know what to do at first, because it took a few times to learn how to style your hair, because I was like, man, it just doesn't look right, or it doesn't look as good as when I left Hair Club. And honestly, I got trained. As I go, I'm like, show me how you do it. And I give me the comb, let me do it. Let me put the stuff, give me the stuff I need, and fix me up, train me how to, I want to make it look as good. So I learned how to do it, and it's kind of funny because before I just combed my hair to make it look like I had hair. Whatever hairstyle made it look like I had the most hair. You know what I mean? I had the comb over going, and now it's like, I can do anything I want. Well, what do I do? It's like there's too many options. I don't know what to do, so I had to learn a little bit. I want to look good, right? I do a lot of things on TV and, as a race car driver, not just driving the car, but I do a lot of TV broadcasts and stuff like that for the Xfinity Series, which is one level down from the Cup Series, but I end up doing the broadcast a lot for them. So I want things to look fresh all the time, look good. So, I'm probably more of a frequent customer than most, but, the option's there to go either way, for sure. I try to schedule everything so I do it when I'm at home, but I can, and I have been to other locations, but not for a haircut or anything like that, or freshen up or whatever. I've always kind of just stuck to what I do, and I try to be consistent as much as I can. But we all know, sometimes stuff comes up, and you're like, I can't do it this week, but I got to get in there before I leave for because sometimes I'm gone from home for a week at a time. And I'm like, oh, I got to get in there before I leave. And, can you fit me in here? And then it's like, hey, hang on a second. They kind of move things around. Boom. Okay, you get in there. I'm like, all right, cool. And try to work together on that stuff. But I try to be consistent and say, okay, this is when I'm going to be there. This is what I'm going to do. But, yeah, I mean, things change at the blink of an eye a lot of times. And in our life, for sure.
Yeah, now I know you've got 3 kids, and they've got something called Hair Club for Kids. Can you tell me a little bit about Hair Club for Kids, why it really strikes your heart, and why you think it's such an important charity that Hair Club does?
There's a few kids that I know that have gone through that piece for them. And, one of my friends that was part of the JO Kids crew, where we bring kids to the racetrack, they're going through a life-altering situation one way or another. And we bring them to the racetrack, give them this great experience and all that. Well, one of them that was became good friends of us is one of their Hair Club for kids as well. And you just help give them confidence, right? There's already something different already, right? And people are it's tough for them, right? Think about it. Like as a kid, showing up, being different than everybody else. As an adult, you can somewhat handle that because you've gone through more of life, or you're more confident in yourself. You know who you are, those type of things. But as a kid, man, it's even harder, right? Because you don't know, and now you're the different kid. And like I said, kids that aren't real nice are going to say things, and it's horrible, and it's not their fault, right? It just happens. So the fact that Hair Club came up with a fix for them. In a charitable way, right? Like that part's really neat.
Hair Club is the solution that works for Joey. For so many people experiencing hair loss, the idea of going in and getting a consultation is really what's holding them back. It's difficult. Some people feel embarrassed about the whole thing, and others just feel, it's not going to work. Having been in their shoes, Joey offered sound advice to help those hesitant to take the first step.
I would say just go get the consultation and get comfortable going there the first time. Right? Don't make a decision before you walk into the place. Yes or no. Just say, hey, I've noticed I've been losing my hair. I've noticed I have an issue with this, or this. And is there anything you guys got here? And let them do their job. Let them go in there and say, okay, evaluate what's going on and send you some options. That's like my regret, is that I wish I did something like that first. I wish I did that years ago, instead of waiting. Like if you get ahead of it, it's a little easier, and you don't have like the shock factor as much either, right? If you get ahead of it a little bit, like when it's starting. And it's been really cool for me to see how many people reached out to me saying, what did you do? I want to do something. I just didn't know where to go or what to do or who to talk to. And all of a sudden, like, I became that guy. And I'm like, I got you. I got the hookup, bro. Don't you worry. I send them in, So I think that part, like, to me has been a lot of fun, because it's an insecurity that a lot of people have. It's something that people don't feel comfortable a lot of times talking about. And why not? Like, why not talk about it? It is what it is. You can't do anything about it. So do something about it. Like, this is your one fix. You got one option here. So what's it hurt to go talk to somebody? This is what they do. So it's not awkward when you get there, because this is what they're used to, like, so they're used to people that don't have hair, right? And then they give you hair. That's their job. So it's not even awkward at all.
That's amazing. Well, you have a fantastic hair story. I love how you've embraced it. Awesome talking with you. Thanks for sharing your story, Joey.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing this.
That was Joey Logano. Dealing with alopecia is a challenge, and it's great to hear how Joey's overcome that challenge and gone on to thrive and feel confident in the public eye. And if you haven't done so already, follow him on Instagram at Joey Logano. If somebody you know is battling alopecia, let them know there is hope. Share this episode with them. It would go a long way. Thanks for listening to HairPod. If you haven't done so, subscribe and leave us a rating and a review. It would mean a ton. To see Joey's before and after pictures, stay up to date on upcoming episodes. Get excellent tips about your hair, or just connect with us. Follow us on Instagram at Hair Club. Until next time.